All right, Anna, thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah, you bet, Taylor.
All right, let's dive in. First, can you tell us a little bit about your farming operation in general? Do you have crops, livestock? What are you guys up to?
Yeah, certainly. So Doug and I are first generation farmers in north central Montana, right on the Canadian border. Our farm is Velicus Farms. Doug took Latin in high school, and Velicus literally translates as steward of the land. So we take that really responsibility. We're
Amazing.
100% organic. We started with 12,000 or 1,208 acres, and now we're lucky to manage 12,000 through a lot of really thoughtful landowners. We
That
grow.
is incredible.
We have a 7-year crop rotation. So we're growing 20 some different things every year. Small grains, heirloom grains is one bucket. Another bucket is legumes, so lentils, peas, and the third bucket is oilseeds, broadleaf, safflower, flax, buckwheat, and every one of those is interspersed with a year of cover crops. And most of those cover crops we're doing integrated grazing on with a small herd of Highlanders and working with another organic operation that brings their cows up every year.
That is amazing. I have a feeling that I'm going to want to reconnect with you and learn more about your story and see how you got to where you are. But
You
so
bet.
today we're talking about business entities. Can you tell me what legal business entity type is your farm?
Yeah, so currently we are sole proprietorship. And that is an artifact of how we started from scratch back in 2009, because we had to provide all of the signatures and support all the debt that we took on to start our farm. We were lucky to have a really good loan officer at Farm Service, and so we launched with operating line of credit, loan to purchase our land, and then start some equipment. Where we sit here today, 17 seasons later, we're starting to look at other entity structures and how to shift into that so that we can think about that around as a succession plan. But at the time, it made no sense to do something different for us because the farm size and scale we were doing, we're not doing food, so the liability issue really was something that we couldn't avoid since we were personally signing for all the debt of the farm anyway.
So has it worked well for you up to this point?
Up to this point, it has. We've had several challenging years with drought. Doug has been the sole proprietorship. So technically it's Doug Crabtree, DBA Velicus Farms, which hasn't worked so great for me, honestly, as someone that's a full-on business partner, but I've been also working the off-farm job. As we've grown, though, we also are starting to launch a value-added enterprise, and that is something else that we're looking at. Another reason why to separate out the entity and look at different structures to manage that liability.
Yeah, so you had mentioned succession planning being one reason that you're thinking about changing your entity type. Are there any others that are coming into play? I know it sounds like you guys have gotten really big. I'm curious if size of farm or operations has anything to do with it.
So much size, it's the financial basis that it takes to run this farm, and we're feeling like it's outgrowing us and our ability. And we really want to bring some other thought partners and supporters in to help us. We're the largest Be Better certified farm in the nation. We've got 500 acres of pollinator habitat interspersed in around our cropping system, because we really are on this idea of like nature needs to be integrated into the farm system. And so with that, we've been actively trying to explore carbon credits and other payments for our conservation work, and that hasn't necessarily manifested in the way that we had hoped. So part of us thinking about another entity structuring is who else can come in and help us hold some of these liabilities, because you can't build soil overnight. And I like to say you can't build soil on quarterly profit reporting cycles. So, we need others that are going to be with us through the thick and the thin, and that if we really want land change at scale.
Yeah, that makes sense. Has your choice of sole proprietorship, has that to this point, has that affected any FSA programs that you're able to participate in, or loans or disaster relief? Has that had any impact on,
I wish I
finding other
wish that
programs?
was I think if anything, it's actually supported us, because
Great.
there's the average gross income declaration, and we're under that significantly. I think it's made it easier for Doug just as a person. He's the owner, to go in and handle what we needed to do around all that FSA paperwork. My sense is that if you change to partnerships or something else, it can get a little more tricky around managing all that reporting and
Yeah.
who gets what part of the payments. And so that's also something that's held us back a little bit from trying to figure out really what do we move into.
Got it. And last question for you. What do you have any advice for new and beginning farmers, or even farmers who have a farm established and are need to establish a legal entity?
Oh, great question. When you start, you don't always know what you don't know. So I think
Mhm.
do a little research, and then I guess don't be afraid of changing too, because every farm is its own independent organism, and it evolves and adapts. And like, this is what we're trying to do now also. So.
Got it. Thank you so much. This has been so helpful. I know that our visitors are going to find value in you sharing your story. So I really appreciate you taking the time.
Okay, you bet, Taylor.